I'm going to show you how to start with your endgame. Now let's get started. What is up, my winning friend? Welcome back to another video. Hey, if this is your first time here and you want to learn how to reach your potential, crush your goals, and be more effective in all the different roles that you have, start right now by hitting subscribe and tap the bell notifications. That way you don't miss anything. In Stephen Covey's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he has you visualize your very own funeral. I'd like you to take a second and think about what you would like your family, friends, co-workers, people that you go to church with or community service, what would you want them to say about you at your very own funeral, about your character, contributions, and your achievements in life? Now, if you participated seriously in this visualization experience, you touched for a moment some of your deep, fundamental core values in life. The fundamental application of starting with your endgame is to start today with a picture or image of the end of your life as a frame of reference by which everything else is examined. Each part of your life, today's behavior, tomorrow's behavior, next week, next month, next year's behavior can be examined as a whole in context of what really matters to you. By keeping this end in mind, you can make sure that whatever you do on any particular day does not violate these core values that you set out for yourself, and that your conduct matches what you set out to be at the end of your life, and that each day of your life contributes in a meaningful way to the vision that you have of your life as a whole. To start with your endgame in mind means to start with a clear understanding of your destination. It means to know where you're going so that you have a better understanding of where you're at right now, and so that the steps that you take are always in the right direction. And real quick, before we move on here, if you have any tips on how to start with your endgame, I'd like to hear about it in the comments below. It is so easy to get caught up in the activity trap and the busyness of life, working harder and harder, of climbing that ladder of success, only to realize that that ladder is leaning against the wrong wall. It's possible to be busy, very busy, without being very effective. People often find themselves achieving victories that are empty, successes that have come at the expense of things that they suddenly realized were far more valuable to them. I mean, people from all walks of life, plumbers, doctors, lawyers, athletes, actors, you name it, all struggle to find more income and more recognition, only to realize that their goal to strive to reach these particular goals often blinded them from the things that really mattered most in life and that are now gone. How different our lives would be if we really know what matters most to us, and by doing that we keep that picture in our mind and manage ourselves on a day-to-day basis in accordance to what really matters most. If the ladder isn't leaning against the correct wall, then each step we take is only getting us to the wrong place faster. We may be busy and we may be efficient, but we can only be truly effective when we start with our end game. If you carefully consider what you wanted people to say about you at your funeral, there you find your definition of success. And it may be very different from the definition that you thought you had in mind. Perhaps fame, achievement, money, or some of the other things that we strive for are not even part of the right wall. When you start with your end game, you gain a different perspective. One man asked another man on their death of their mutual friend, how much did he leave behind? And his friend replied, he left it all. Start with your end game is based on a principle that all things are created twice. There is a mental or first creation and a physical second creation to everything. Take the construction of a home, for example. You create it in every single detail before you ever hammer the first nail into place. You try to get very clear on what kind of sense of house do you want. Do you want it to be a nice wide open space? Do you want big open windows? You think about all these things before you even create the home. You work with ideas, you work with your mind until you get a clear image of what you want to build. Then you reduce it to blueprint, develop construction plans, and all this is done before the earth is even touched. And if not, then in the second creation, the physical creation, you will have to make expensive changes that may double the cost of your home. The carpenter's rule is to measure twice and cut once. You have to make sure that your blueprint, the first creation, is what you really want. You have to really think it through. Then you put in the bricks and mortar. Then each day you go to the construction shed, you pull out your blueprint, and you got your marching orders for the day, and you go to work. You start with your end game. Let's look at business for another example. If you want to have a successful enterprise, you got to clearly define what it is that you're trying to accomplish. You really got to think through all the products and services that you're going to be offering to people. You got to think about the financial, all the marketing, all the advertising, everything that goes into running a successful business. You got to clearly create it first in your first mental creation. Most business failures begin in the first creation with problems such as undercapitalization, misunderstanding of the market, and lack of a business plan. The same is true with parenting. If you want to raise responsible, self-disciplined children, you have to keep that end in mind every day as you interact with your children. you can't behave towards them in ways that undermine their self-discipline and self-esteem. People use this principle in many areas of life. Before they go on a trip, they determine what destination they're going to, what hotel they're going to stay at, how they're going to get around for transportation, even the places that they're going to go see. Before you plant a garden, you plan it out in your mind, even possibly on paper. You create speeches on paper before you give them, you envision the landscaping in your yard before you landscape it, and you think about the clothes you want to design in your mind before you thread the needle. To the extent to which we understand the principle of two creations and accept responsibility for both, we act within and expand the borders of our own circle of influence. And to the extent to which we do not act in harmony with this principle and we do not take charge of the first creation, we diminish it. If you want to watch more videos on living effectively, then check out this playlist right there. Share this video on Facebook, and if you're part of any personal development groups, you can share it with your friends there. And if you want to learn how to reach your potential, crush your goals, and be more effective in all the different roles that you have, start right now by hitting the round subscribe icon. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.